I'm Sloane Avery, and this is the story of the night my family forgot my birthday, and how that silence became the start of my freedom. What began as a lonely dinner in Atlanta turned into a journey of rediscovering self-worth, setting boundaries, and learning that love without respect isn't love at all. It's a story about choosing peace over approval and building success that no one can take credit for but you. Clapperboard before we begin. If you believe that healing, justice, and quiet revenge are the best answers to betrayal, hit that like button, subscribe, and drop your location in the comments. Because this tale of strength, growth, and self-respect is dedicated to everyone who's ever learned that sometimes walking away is the comeback. Birthday candles shimmer against the low light at Juniper and Slate, a new spot in Midtown Atlanta where the walls breathe jazz and the linen glows like moonlight. My glass of red sits untouched, catching those little flames as if they're trying to talk me out of feeling foolish. I check my phone again. Still no messages. First seats sit empty around a small cake that looks braver than I feel. Would you like a few more minutes for your guests, Ms. Avery? The waiter asks, voice gentle, eyes kinder than I'm ready for. 15, I say, pulling a smile tight as a bow. We both know I've already stretched the clock. The blouse I bought just for tonight, a deep copper silk, whispers under my palm. Plates clink. Laughter rises. Somewhere, a cork lets go. Celebration fills the room like a warm tide. I'm the island it breaks around. 2 weeks ago, I booked this table on a high I'd worked years to earn. Copper Leaf Harvest Labs, my plant-based beverage venture, cold-pressed tonics, nutrient teas, and functional seltzers sourced from Black-owned urban farms, had just closed $940,000 in angel backing. After 3 years of 14-hour days and pledging equity I didn't want to part with, someone finally wrote a check to my conviction. Family dinner at Juniper and Slate. Birthday plus big news. I'd posted in the group chat. Thursday, 7 p.m. I'll reserve for 5. Silence. A nudge 2 days later. Nothing. One last message. Table set for Thursday 7. Hope to see everyone. Mother. Father. Marcus. Not a single response. I sip water to quiet the heat in my chest. This isn't new, just louder in a room that celebrates other people's joy. When we were kids, Dad took Marcus on a men's weekend to Fish Lake Hartwell. When I asked to come, he patted my shoulder and said, "Your brother needs investment. You need stability." Years later, that investment looked like me co-signing $16,500 for Marcus's street bike right out of college. When he missed payments, I covered them to save my credit. Dad thanked me absently while helping Marcus install custom pipes. The chair across from me scrapes softly. A tall, salt and pepper brother in a charcoal suit and tortoiseshell frame stands there, apologetic smile, warm presence. "Not to intrude," he says, voice like a good baritone. "Saw the candles. Thought I might offer a happy birthday, Ms. Avery," I say. "Sloane. I'm Everett Cole." He lifts a hand toward the waiter. The candles catch and begin to glow for real. "I make documentaries and host a podcast about resilience, Black founders, hard roads, quiet wins." His gaze settles, not pitying, just present. "Figured you might be familiar with those words." A laugh escapes me before I can help it. "Do you always read a room like that?" "Occupational hazard," he says, easing into the chair. "What are we toasting tonight? Besides your life around the sun?" Truth is leaner than any excuse. "I just closed our first real round for my company. I thought family might want to celebrate. And they're fashionably invisible," he says, soft enough that it doesn't sting. "Their loss. Tell me about the company." I pull up the site on my phone. Copper Leaf's homepage blooms with images of amber tonics and bright labeled cans. We source from Black growers, pay fair, bottle clean, and keep sugar low. We're expanding production and bringing a mobile bottling line to neighborhoods that never get the wellness trucks. Everett studies the screen, then me. Admiration warms his face like sunrise. "Somebody should be toasting you tonight." Something eases inside my ribs. The candles waver. I make a wish I didn't plan to make and blow. I don't wish for my mother's approval, or for my father to suddenly remember I exist outside of Marcus's shadow. I wish for the spine to stop chasing any of it. I can't keep waiting for them, I say, the words tasting new and clean. The hardest truth, Everett replies, is that some folks can't give what they don't have. That's not a verdict on you. Cake arrives. We split it like old friends. I tell him about covering Marcus's missed rent when he was figuring things out, about the slow, grinding way I built Copperleaf while my parents rearranged the world around my brother's next idea. I admit, quietly, that I still love them. Love with boundaries is still love, Everett says. The boundary is what keeps it alive. The room hums with birthdays and toasts that don't belong to me. And somehow, for the first time in years, I feel seen anyway. When I leave, I don't feel smaller. I feel steadier. The candles in that little cake didn't burn down to nothing. They burned a path. Morning light spills across my balcony in Old Fourth Ward, touching the rim of my coffee like liquid gold. The skyline looks close enough to pocket. 3 years have slipped by since that night at Juniper and Slate, and quiet persistence has paid its dues. My phone pings, a clip from last night's interview trending again. The segment where I walk through Copperleaf Harvest Lab's journey from a rented commissary kitchen to a $28 million valuation keeps getting shared. Views tick past 420,000. Comments call me the new face of functional beverages. If only they knew how unnatural family can sometimes be. The screen lights with a name that pulls my stomach tight. Mom. We haven't spoken beyond holiday check-ins and strained, surface-level coffee meets. I almost let it roll to voicemail, then swipe. Baby, she sings syrupy sweet, a voice I haven't heard since school awards nights. Did you get my messages? I've been in meetings, Mom. Your brother's getting married. Can you believe it? Our Marcus, finally settling down with Layla. She barely inhales. And we've been thinking, this is the perfect moment for an Avery family collaboration. Avery Naturals. Doesn't that just sound right? We've always been your biggest supporters. The lie stings because it's polished. I look at the ink issue on my coffee table, Copperleaf on the cover. I'll think about it, I say, sliding into my professional voice like it's Kevlar. Wonderful. Call me back this afternoon. We hang up. A new message arrives from Marcus. Big wedding coming up, sis. Also, my racing crew needs a primary sponsor. $210,000 for the season. Crazy good exposure for Copperleaf. Thoughts? I set the phone face down. The view outside feels less like freedom, more like altitude. At the office, I pull a dusty folder of family photos from an old drive. Marcus in cap and gown, our parents grinning in front of his first tuner car. My college graduation, just me in borrowed robes, because they were out of town for one of his regional events. Patterns don't fade. They just learn new fonts. A voice memo pops up from Everett. Saw the interview. You were brilliant. Remember who you became despite, not because. Dinner on me tonight. I open a fresh spreadsheet and title it, Family Ledger, Personal. Line by line, I list it all. Missed rent I covered during Marcus's career reset, the bike payments I assumed, Dad's boat repair after Marcus borrowed it, and misjudged a dock pull-in. The tally lands at $39,500, quiet support spread over years, paid in silence because that felt safer than conflict. This isn't punishment, I tell the empty air. This is clarity. A knock. Quinton, my CFO, leans in with quarterly numbers. You good? Family outreach, I say. He nods, unruffled. Just a reminder. Legally and ethically, there's no expectation to blend family with the brand. Keep the walls clean. I intend to. A buzz from Kiana, my oldest friend. Saw Marcus's post about sponsors. They didn't clap for you. Why would you bankroll them? Protect your peace. I smile despite the ache. Kiana always boils the ocean down to a sentence. An hour later, a courier drops a heavy card with Everett's handwriting. Boundaries aren't doors slammed shut. They're frames that make love fit the room it can actually occupy. That's my cue. By evening, I draft an email that reads like a memo but breathes like a release. I attach the ledger and keep my tone cool, not cold. If we're exploring any collaboration, let's start from zero, with full transparency about past support. Going forward, I won't mix family and copperleaf. Personal requests will be considered within clear limits. I love you. I'm choosing a healthy structure to protect that love. I hover, remembering the birthday candles at a table set for 5 and a phone that never lit up. I press send. Mom replies in minutes, the mask cracking. How dare you speak to us like this? After all we've sacrificed. I type, steady and simple. I was grateful in silence, in dollars, in tears. I'm grateful to myself now for stopping. When Everett arrives for dinner later, he finds me on the balcony watching planes carve the pink sky. They don't want to celebrate me, I say. They want to use me. What do you want? He asks. To stop confusing obligation with love. He threads his fingers through mine. Then, that's what you'll do. More messages blink across my phone. Missed calls, long texts, a flurry that smells like urgency and sounds like strategy. For the first time in my life, I let them sit there, unanswered, while the city lights come on one by one. Boundaries can be quiet. Tonight, mine are cathedral quiet, high, echoing, resolute. 2 weeks after that email, Copperleaf's glass doors swing open to a sight that feels both predictable and absurd. My receptionist's voice crackles over the intercom. Miss Avery, your mother and brother are here. They say it's urgent. They brought a cake. A ripple of amusement circles the open office floor. I catch my team's sidelong glances, their half-hidden smiles. It's not every day the CEO's family stages a surprise. Tell them I'm in a meeting, I say, calm but clipped. They insist on waiting. Of course they do. I take a breath, smooth the front of my blazer, and tell my staff, 10-minute pause, everyone. Review the Q3 distribution numbers before I'm back. When I step into the reception area, the scene could have been lifted from an old sitcom if not for how real it feels. Mom stands holding a bakery box like a peace treaty, her hair freshly dyed honey brown, her perfume thick enough to have its own zip code. Marcus leans against the desk in designer joggers and a smug half-smile. Surprise. Mom trills. We thought we'd drop by, celebrate your Forbes feature. No hard feelings about missed calls. The receptionist pretends to type. 2 interns pretend not to stare. I offer a tight smile. Let's talk in the small conference room. Mom's gaze drifts over the exposed brick, the glass-walled offices, the framed photos of copperleaf bottles on whole market shelves. My, she murmurs. You've really come up. Marcus pauses at a product display, tapping the case with a knuckle. You must be raking it in off these little drinks, huh? I gesture them inside. This way. When the door clicks shut, I stand while they take seats. Mom runs a manicured finger across the walnut table. 16 grand for this thing, easy, she mutters. What brings you here, Mom? She sets the cake down, her smile dimming. Can't we just visit our successful daughter? Marcus sprawls in a leather chair. Yes, Sloan, don't be so uptight. The last time we spoke, I remind him evenly, you asked for 200 grand for your racing crew. The time before that, Mom hinted about the wedding budget. Forgive me for assuming this isn't just a social call. Mom's tone sharpens. You've changed. Success has made you cold. I haven't changed, I say, staying on my feet. I've just stopped pretending. Marcus leans forward, his voice low, pleading. Come on, Sloan. We're family. That's supposed to mean something. The word hangs between us, heavy with unpaid debts, lonely birthdays, and all the maybes that only ever went one direction. Yes, I say softly. It should mean something, like love that doesn't come with an invoice. Support without strings. Celebration that isn't a transaction. Mom's eyes narrow. We sacrificed plenty for you. What exactly? The question leaves before I can filter it. When I needed co-signers for my first loan, you said it was too risky. When I worked 16-hour days in a one-room office, you never once showed up with a meal. But now that there's press coverage, suddenly we're a brand family? Marcus shifts uneasy. That's not fair. What's not fair, I counter, is pretending family only matters when there's money in it. Mom exhales sharply. We're proud of you, Sloan. Don't twist it. I believe you, I answer, voice gentle again. But this company isn't a family ATM. My success doesn't mean I owe anyone a paycheck. She gathers her handbag, stiff-shouldered. We see we've caught you at a bad time. Any time you come with expectations instead of love will be a bad time. They leave with brittle smiles. Through the glass wall, I watch them cross the lobby, the perfect picture of dignity bruised. When the elevator doors close, I let the air rush out of me. My phone buzzes almost instantly. Everett. Coffee after your ambush? Proud of you for holding the line. Another message from Kiana. Girl, that clip of you on Forbes Daily is everywhere. Don't let their drama dim it. I smile faintly. Some storms don't deserve a response. That evening, I pour a glass of Merlot and draft a new company protocol. No family business proposals without board approval. I even ask legal to codify it. It's not bitterness. It's structure. When my reflection catches in the window, city lights behind me, I realize the woman looking back isn't bracing anymore. She's simply standing, steady, rooted, free. 2 days after that visit, my phone won't stop vibrating. Marcus's new social media post flashes across my screen. Some people care more about money than blood. Family used to mean something. The comments flood in fast, mutual acquaintances tagging me, half the city's gossip cycle spinning. I stare at it for a full minute, the words pulsing like a heartbeat. Then I open a blank status window of my own and type slowly. Family isn't a debt to collect. It's a space where love should exist without conditions. I hope everyone finds that space, including me. I hit post. No dramatics, no names. Just truth wrapped in grace. Within minutes, notifications erupt, hundreds of likes, dozens of private messages. Stay strong. You're inspiring. I needed to read this today. 15 words, and it feels like I just set down a 100-pound stone I didn't realize I was carrying. My landline rings, one of the few people who still has the number. Kiana's voice is steady. You okay? Better than I thought, I admit. Feels clean. Marcus is melting down in the group chat, she says. Your mom called me this morning, wanted me to talk sense into you. I laugh, short and tired, and told her you already made sense. But fair warning, they're calling around. Your dad cornered folks at the Rotary breakfast, trying to rewrite history. Of course, I sigh. They've had practice. Kiana hesitates. And your mom's prayer group is busy, lifting you up. Translation, spreading it around. Right on schedule. I shower, dress, and armor up, charcoal pants, crisp white blouse, gold hoops. At the office, Aisha, my assistant, meets me with coffee. 3 calls from your brother this morning. Block again? Yes, please. Any investor messages? She bites her lip. 1. From Mr. Jennings at Summit Equity. He said Marcus contacted him. Claims family tension could affect operations. The heat rises in my chest. Marcus called my investors. Schedule lunch, I say. Today, if possible. 2 hours later, I sit across from Jennings at the same restaurant where this whole story began. Juniper and Slate's lighting still glows honey-soft, and irony hangs thick in the air. He adjusts his glasses. Your brother called saying he was worried about the company's direction. Said you were under stress, maybe making rash decisions. I let him finish before I respond. You've seen our quarterly growth, Mr. Jennings. 26% up year-to-date. I don't mix family and business. Never have, never will. He nods, lips twitching in a half-smile. Didn't think you did. The numbers speak louder than gossip. Relief flickers like a candle. Thank you for meeting with me. One more thing, he says, gathering his napkin. Your brother sounded entitled. Mention that you owe him a collaboration. I'd steer clear. I plan to. He grins. Good. Now, order the sea base. It's still the best in town. Back at the office, I open a tab for the Copperleaf Foundation, a side project I've been shaping quietly, grants for young Black women starting sustainability ventures. The cursor blinks, waiting. I type the last paragraph, hit launch. The homepage goes live. Then I donate $18,000 anonymous to a community driving safety nonprofit in Marcus's city. No statement, no announcement. Just balance. My phone buzzes again. A message from Dad. Your mother is devastated. This public spectacle is beneath you. I set the phone aside. My inbox pings 3 new interview requests, none mentioning family drama. All about leadership, sustainability, growth. At 7 p.m., Everett knocks with takeout from my favorite Ethiopian spot. Figured you might not want a crowd tonight, he says, setting down the food. You figured right. We eat on the balcony as the skyline turns to embers. He went after your investors? Everett asks. He did. It didn't stick. He nods. That's the difference between noise and narrative. You own the narrative. My phone keeps lighting up. Marcus's fiancée now, hoping to clear the air before the wedding. I silence it. Everett scrolls through his own feed, then chuckles. One of Marcus's sponsors commented under his post, reconsidering partnerships that lack integrity. Looks like the truth's finding its own legs. I sip wine, letting the silence stretch. I never asked for that. You didn't have to, he says. Light eventually exposes what smoke hides. Later that night, my mentor texts, proud of you. Hosting a panel on ethical entrepreneurship next month. Want the keynote? I type back one word. Absolutely. Before bed, I replay Everett's quiet observation. They're only escalating because they're losing control. It lands true. Mom called Kiana again this morning, apparently less sure, even saying, maybe we pushed too hard. Dad, according to Everett, looked thoughtful when he ran into him at a cafe, admitting they should have backed Coppola from day one. 3 years too late, but acknowledgement still hums like closure. I stand on the balcony, city lights blinking below, and scroll through a new message in the family thread. She's torn this family apart with her selfishness. Marcus again. Below it, a reply from his fiancée, Layla. Maybe we should all stop asking her for things and start respecting her space. I close my phone, exhaling. Tomorrow will bring more words, more rewrites of history. But tonight, I've learned the strength in silence. Sometimes, the most powerful statement is to keep building while others keep burning. The voicemail plays for the 3rd time that week, my mother's voice dripping with practiced fragility. Sloan, sweetheart, we're still your parents, no matter what. Some bonds can stretch, but never break. Delete. Sunlight cuts across my kitchen floor, gilding the marble like memory. On the counter lies a cream envelope embossed in gold, Marcus and Layla's wedding invitation. Inside, a handwritten note reads, time for family healing. We miss you, Mom and Dad. 3 weeks of this now, calls, texts, apologies that bend around the truth but never touch it. I sip my coffee, exhausted by nostalgia disguised as guilt. A knock at my door. Is this seat taken? Everett steps in, coat over his arm, a brown paper bag from Juniper Bakery in hand. Only by ghosts, I say, sliding the invitation toward him. Their latest campaign. He studies the gold lettering. The Westmont Grand Ballroom? Someone's feeling generous. Or someone's hoping I'll be. I answer, taking the coffee he brought, dark roast with almond milk, exactly right. His gaze shifts to the open stack of photo albums on my table. More deliveries? FedEx. Old family albums, annotated with sticky notes like emotional footnotes. Remember Christmas 2001? You loved this tradition. It's creative emotional PR. My phone buzzes. Marcus again. Dad's blood pressure's high. Really hope you'll come. Would mean a lot. Last week it was Mom's migraines, I mutter. They're trying every lever they've got. Everett says gently, taking a seat. How are you holding up? I keep thinking I should feel worse, cry over these pictures, question my boundaries. But mostly I just feel done. Is that cold? No, he says, voice low and steady. That's clarity. You've stopped mistaking guilt for love. His words loosen something inside me. I don't want to hate them, I whisper. Boundaries aren't hate, he replies. They're health. Forgiveness doesn't require re-enlistment. That lands deep. What would healthy even look like? I ask. He thinks. Maybe fewer extremes. Limited contact. Controlled access. Conditions that honor your peace instead of threatening it. I nod. Neutral places only. No business talk. No last-minute emergencies as manipulation. Reasonable, he says. But can you enforce it even if they don't accept it? I meet his eyes. I can. That evening, I draft one last message to my family, firm, direct, and free of accusation. I'll attend the wedding if we can respect clear boundaries. No sponsorships, no business discussions, no public scenes. Let's move forward with civility, not expectation. When I press send, it doesn't feel like rebellion. It feels like recovery. The ballroom glows like a movie set, gold drapes, champagne chandeliers, a live quartet. I stand near the back with Everett, our hands loosely linked. My champagne sweats in my palm. Marcus and Layla weave through well-wishers. When he spots me, surprise flickers before the practiced smile lands. You made it, he says. And you brought a date. Ever Cole, I introduce. Congratulations to you both. Layla smiles, genuine and warm. Your gift was perfect, Sloan. The book on financial partnership, it's so thoughtful. I nod. It's a good foundation. Marcus shifts, trying to find his angle. Listen about the team. I raise a hand gently. Today's your day, Marcus. Let's keep it that way. Everett's quiet presence beside me is a subtle shield. Marcus blinks, nods once, and lets it go. A while later, my mother appears, elegant in sea blue chiffon, every hair in place, every emotion rehearsed. Darling, may I steal you for a moment? She leads me to a quiet alcove near the dessert table. You look beautiful, she begins. But your email, setting terms to attend your own brother's wedding? It broke my heart. We're family, Sloan. Family should work both ways, I say calmly. Support shouldn't depend on convenience. Her face tightens. Your father and I won't be around forever. I know, I say softly. And when you truly need me, I'll be there. But this is a need. It's entitlement. She stares, words caught somewhere between pride and realization. You've changed. I have, I admit. I still love you. For once, she doesn't argue. She simply nods, eyes glimmering with something halfway between defeat and respect. When I rejoin the party, Marcus catches my eye across the room. He raises his glass slightly, a quiet truce, perhaps. I return the gesture. Ready, Everett whispers. I glance once more at the swirl of relatives and crystal lights, the world that used to own my approval. Yes, I say. I'm ready. Birthday candles flicker again, but this time in my kitchen. 5 people crowd around my marble island. Everett, Kiana, my mentee Jada, and 2 of my foundation's early grantees. Kiana lifts her glass. To choosing family by heart, not blood. We all cheer. The laughter in my home feels different, real, easy, earned. When I blow out the candles, I don't wish for acceptance. I already have peace. Later, as the guests drift into the living room, I slip into my study. My leather journal waits open. Love without boundaries becomes self-erasure. Boundaries built with grace become bridges, not walls. Copper Leaf has doubled its valuation. Everett and I co-authored a book on resilience that hit bestseller lists. The foundation funds 10 new founders each quarter. My phone buzzes, Layla again. A photo of their newborn daughter, captioned Meet Zara. No requests. Just joy. I smile. Progress. When Jada knocks with questions about turning down her father's offer to absorb her startup, I pour her coffee and listen. He invested so much, she says. I feel guilty. Guilt isn't gratitude, I tell her. One drains you. The other grows you. She exhales. That helps. As she leaves, Everett lights a single candle on the leftover cake. Do you ever wish they'd shown up that night? He asks. No, I say, smiling. If they had, I might never have met you. Outside, Atlanta glows amber in the dusk. We step onto the balcony, glasses of Cabernet in hand. Any regrets? Everett asks, only that I waited so long to choose myself. Below us, the city hums, alive, unapologetic. The same candles that once burned for loneliness now burn for freedom. And this time, I'm surrounded by people who showed up not because they had to, but because they wanted to. And that's how a birthday dinner meant for others became the moment I finally celebrated myself. Sloane Avery learned that peace doesn't come from being chosen. It comes from choosing differently. Family may share your blood, but true connection honors your boundaries. Because sometimes, walking away from manipulation isn't abandonment. It's maturity. If this story moved you, show some love, like, comment, and subscribe to Revenge Tales, where we share powerful stories of justice, healing, and poetic payback. Tell us in the comments. Speech Balloon, have you ever had to set boundaries with people you love? Speech Balloon, what did that freedom feel like? Your support helps us keep telling stories that remind the world you don't owe anyone access to your peace. Stay tuned for the next tale, because in this universe, karma always finds its way home.